Hey guys, hope it's RDiK, your old school duelist, whoever you want to call me. And, I haven't posted a video in a little bit. And, I have reasons why I haven't. But, in reality, those reasons really don't matter. And when it boils down to it, I just haven't. I just haven't, because I haven't. No real reason. But, I don't know. The reason why I'm doing this, which probably will be, it's either going to be a quick video or a long video. I haven't quite decided yet. But, I'm just going to get a few things off my mind that because I haven't had any of these moments or anything like that. I haven't done a video where I'm just talking about shit on my mind because, that was honestly the whole reason why I started a podcast, to help me therapeutically with videos, with stuff that's on my mind, because that was the biggest thing, just to quickly talk about that for a quick sec, but, yeah, so the reason why I started doing a podcast, wow, that goes a lot higher than I thought it did, just to kind of sum it up, is, I was dating a girl. This was actually about this time last year. I was dating a girl, and I always told her, I was like, yeah, I listen to a lot of podcasts while I'm at work. So I've always wanted to do my own podcast, which is something that I've always wanted to do, and then I just started it one night. But she broke up with me, and I was just in my room alone, just chilling. It was about this time again at night, and I just started a podcast. I just recorded the first one, talked about a bunch of things that were on my mind, kinda, sorta, I don't really remember it. I just talked about a bunch of things on my mind, and then I just did it. I just uploaded it, put some video games to it, and just uploaded it, which I continued it. I continued it for about a year, somewhere around a year. I continued doing it, which I still enjoy doing. I still enjoy doing the podcast. I've been a little stressed, a little out of it when it comes to my life. And I'm pretty sure you're thinking, like, what the fuck is so hard about your life? Well, not a whole lot, but the things that are wrong with my life, that are, that have been stressing me out, are a couple things, actually. The biggest thing is, mostly, like, my transgender thing. Well, I wouldn't call it a thing. My transgender life, that's the biggest thing. And I'm using, like, my normal voice, not, like, my girly voice, or, like, my feminine voice, which is honestly just, a little higher pitched version of my normal voice. So I'll let you guys just think about that and figure that out. I've tried to do it on the podcast, but for some reason, like, it never comes out right. Like, it never comes out how it would sound in IRL. Like, you still hear that masculine rasp behind my voice when on the microphone, which is a little annoying. But who cares? I'm probably going to sound like I do in a lot of my older videos and stuff like that, where, it's a little deeper and a little more masculine. But, that's something. I'll talk about that a little bit later. Another thing that's, like, bugging the fuck out of me and has me a little stressed out is I talked about it in a small, like, a short update video. I deleted the video since because it was just, like, a small, like, hey, this is why I didn't post videos, and this is kind of what that is. It's just, I got into a car accident. That was a thing. I got into a car accident in my best friend's car. And I'm paying for it. I'm paying to get it fixed. Buying parts, I'm either going to see if it's fixable for myself, because, in reality, I know nothing about cars. Is the engine light on? Okay, gonna check the oil. No, gonna check a fuse. No, okay, cool. Gotta take it to someone. That's like the extent of my car knowledge. Is it I can change spark plugs, I can change brakes on a car, because that stuff's easy. That stuff is really easy. I can check a fuse. But, you know, once you start to, like, get outside of that, I can't do shit. So, I mean, as far as I'm aware with the accident, it's mostly, like, cosmetic damage. So it's just a matter of, like, how does this part come off? Can this part go back on? Stuff like that, you know, bumper, stuff like that. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to bring in someone who does know stuff about cars to get it fixed, which is going to cost me more money, which I'm not complaining that it's going to cost me more money. It's just the fact that I have to do that I have to hire someone to actually fix a car that's not even mine, which I still, this happened, you know, as of recording this video, recording this video, it happened like 2 weeks ago. You know, but still, like, it still constantly plays back in the back of my head when I'm driving. You know, I joke to myself that it's PTSD, like I have PTSD of driving. But it's really nerve-wracking. Like, now it's very, very nerve-wracking for me to drive. I mean, I still do it because I have to, because one, it's my job, and two, if I don't drive, I'm literally going to be sitting at home doing nothing, which will drive me nuts. But, you know, I'm forcing myself to do it because, if I hadn't start to, you know, force myself to do things, like actually, one, go out and make fucking friends, go out and do things in the fucking public world, then I would just be a homebody that has, like, no friends, or at least the few friends that I'm still friends with from that I actually decided to stay friends with outside of high school. That literally would be me. And the fact that one of my best friends has a kid, so I never see him because he's spending time, because he's taking care of his kid, which I'm not mad at him for. Like, that's his kid. I totally fucking get it. And then there's Josh, my other best friend. He moved to Chicago, so I'm lucky if I see him once a month. Which, again, I'm not mad at him. You know, I'm happy he's going to college. I'm happy he's getting a higher education. Like, he's doing a lot fucking more than me. But, you know, it's just my life. If I didn't force myself to get over this and just continue to fucking drive, then I would literally be doing nothing with my fucking life. Which is, you know, horrible to fucking say, but that's the fucking truth of it all. That legit is the truth. Is, if I didn't force myself to get over it, I would just be sitting at home playing games, or playing the same games over again, or, you know, spend whatever fucking money I'd had left from my job to, or get a job where I can fucking walk to, so I don't have to fucking drive. Stuff like that. The accident plays back in the back of my mind so often, and, you know, some of my friends, you know, I talked to a couple of my friends about this. They're just like, you know, you'll get through it. You know, it happens. That type of stuff. And yeah, it's that one little thing that's just like it's always gonna be back in my mind, and, you know, it bothers me. It bothers me so much that I have that one story growing up now that I crashed my best friend's car. And, you know, in the future, you know, when me and him are older, you know, we'll be able to look at it and, you know, make jokes about it, like, oh yeah, you remember that time you crashed my car? Yeah, man, I remember that time I crashed your car. So it's just, it's annoying. I know I'll get over it, and, you know, just over time, I'll learn to live with it, and, you know, it'll get put behind us once everything's all done and said, and, you know, car's all fixed and everything. But, you know, it's still gonna be there. It's still always gonna be there in the back of my mind. Like, shit, dude, I crashed his car, and, like, you know, every time I come home, because it's sitting in my driveway, you know, just sitting there. I mean, I start it every day, and I've been looking at parts and everything, to fix it, which I'm waiting on my tax return, because once I get my tax return, dude, I could more than likely, plus, you know, money from my paychecks and everything, and I've been saving up to buy the parts, because I kind of want to try and buy all the parts all at once, So then they all get here. I mean, it probably would just be smart, buy what I can when I can. But it's gonna cost a lot. It's gonna cost a lot of fucking money, and it's gonna be a lot of money that I probably don't have. Like, I'm probably gonna have to be saving for months and months to fucking get it fixed, because it's gonna cost me about $400 to $600 just in parts, which for me, that's almost like if it does end up costing me the $600, that's damn near my entire fucking paycheck. So little insight on how much money I fucking make, which, I mean, I don't really fucking care. I don't care. So just, I'm gonna have to take it out of, savings for when I was saving up for my own car, because I don't have my own car. I just borrow my dad's, or I've been driving Josh's for a while now. So, like, yeah, it's coming out of money to save for my car. It's coming out of I'm gonna be using my tax return to pay for this, and I'll be, using money from paychecks, saving up to buy the parts and fucking get his car fixed, because it's my responsibility to either just buy the junk car from him. Well, it's not junk. It still starts, it still runs, and because my dad drove it from the site, from the spot where it happened, back to my house. I mean, it was only like a 15-minute drive, but still, the fact that it fucking happened, and the fact that that has to be a thing that we had to worry about is, can we drive it from the accident spot to the house? No, it's a lot that goes through my mind about this entire situation. And then, that's one of the things that just stress me out. That's been stressing me out. And I know once I get it all taken care of, it's not going to stress me so much, but it's still going to be in the back of my mind that, like, shit, that happened. And, it's a lot. It's made me a little more I'm a little more nerve-wracking it's a little more nerve-wracking when I drive. So, yeah, it's there. It's there, and it bothers me. I'm gonna take a quick drink. And then the other thing, I mentioned, the other big thing that been stressing me out is my transgender lifestyle, and that touches so many things. That affects so many things in my life. I look at it from I've been looking at it from so many scenarios and moments in my life where it would make my life. This is a horrible sentence for me to be saying, but it would make my life a lot simpler if I just stayed male. That's a fucking horrible sentence to say. But that's a thought that goes through my mind quite a few times a day, just through various little situations. When it comes to my love life, because I've been single. I've been single for about a year. It would make my love life a lot fucking simpler. Because then I don't have to worry about, well, is this person going to accept me for who I am? Am I going to, if I stayed male, it's literally just find a girlfriend that just, that's interested in me. That's simple. That's really, I say it's simple, but really it's fucking not. But you guys get the point. I would be able to just look for a girlfriend. But, being trans, that's not as simple as it seems. Because one, you'd have to find a girl who is totally okay with, me being trans, me wanting to change genders. So it'd be someone who's bisexual or a lesbian that's going to look at me as a woman. That's a fucking thing. it's not easy. That's, some people be like, oh, well, you'll find that person, you're only 22, you got plenty of time. Yeah, I have plenty of time, but not a single fucking day goes through my head where I'm just like, if I'm at work and say, like, I meet a new girl starts working at my job, and, I introduce myself. Well, do I introduce myself as Raven, or do I introduce myself as Richard? That's a thing. That is a legit thing that goes through my mind. And, some people, might look at it and be like, well, just introduce yourself as Raven if that's an event, like, if you're interested in getting to know her, blah, 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 blah. But I'm also not, I haven't come out as transgender at my job. Everyone still knows me as Richard at my job. My paychecks, my bosses, other employees who I don't talk to on a personal level, they don't know that I'm transgender. They look at me and they're like, that's a young man who's working hard. That's what they see. But in reality, that's not who I am. So it's one of those things. So it's like, if it doesn't work out, that makes things a lot more awkward. But then, say things start going fine with that person, and we start to get a little more friendly, and it turns into like us wanting to hang out, and then that's when I have to make the awkward statement. Oh yeah, I know we've been like flirty with each other and stuff like that. I'm actually transgender. I want to change genders. I go by Raven. Like that's a conversation I have to have at that point. And then with that, that's a hit or miss. Like, take recently. Like, here's a really good example. I'm not going to use names with this. But I had met a girl online, because obviously I'm single, so I'm like, let's see what online dating has to offer. So I met a girl online, and we ended up going to a Hawks game together. I introduced myself as Richard to her, and I was, referred to myself as Richard a couple times, and, he blah, 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 blah. And then a couple days later after the Hawks game, and it's not like I bought a ticket and said, hey, let's go to a Hawks game, and then I specifically bought tickets just for me and her. No, I got Hawks tickets for Christmas for my dad, and I ended up, the day of the game, I ended up having an extra ticket because Josh got sick and he couldn't go. So I ended up having a ticket. So a couple hours before I left, like literally 2 hours before I was leaving for the game, I said, hey, do you want to go to a Hawks game? She said yes, so she came with. That was the situation. So like, you guys aren't like, oh, you bought tickets for her, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not what happened. Just wanted to clarify that. I ended up having an extra ticket, so I couldn't think of anyone else to go, so I asked her. So yeah, that was a thing. That was, and I presented myself as male to her at the game and all stuff like that. I was more masculine than I prefer to be. And a couple days after the game, I said, hey, I'm actually transgender, blah, 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 that type of thing. And ever since then, things felt awkward between the two of us. That's what it was. It felt like things were going great. Me and her got along. I mean, we still get along when we do chat. Like, we still, nothing, like, our conversations don't change. But I feel like at first we were interested in being friends and possibly more. Like, we even had that conversation. We were just like, well, the conversation came up one time when we were just like, well, whatever we become, friends, dating, blah, blah, whatever we become, stuff. That was a legit conversation we had. So the potential was there. But ever since I told her I was transgender, I feel like just through the conversations, we text less. Like, we don't text as often as we did when we first started talking. Because we would text each other every day, most of the day. And, she'd go to work. I'd say, okay, have a good time at work. She'd text me while she's on break. Then she would text me after work. And then she'd be like, hey, work was so blah, blah, blah. And, regular stuff that, like, two people that are genuinely interested in dating. would do. I don't get that anymore from her. Ever since I told her, I don't get that. Me and her very rarely text anymore. So that's just one example. And here's another example that, would make my love life a lot more simpler if I just stayed male. Then this happened a few minutes, like literally minutes before I decided to turn on the microphone and start recording. Again, online dating. I said a cheesy, pickup line to the girl, and they were just like, so you like girls and you like to dress up as a girl. And I was like, in the short and simple, yes, that is what I am. She goes, well, I like more of a rugged man, blah blah blah. I like men who like to dress like a dude. That is a legit thing someone said to me, and it brings back to the point. My love life would be simpler, a lot more simpler, if I just stayed male. And, that is, again, I repeat, that is a horrible, horrible thing for me to say and think. But it's the truth. But it's the honest to God truth. And that's just my love life. When it comes to my job, because, there's moments at my job where I'm just like, I want to just, be seen and treated female. But I don't get that, and it's not so simple to just show up to work and be like, I'm transgender, everyone look at me as female. It is literally not that simple. For the everyday folks that don't understand, it's not that simple. And I'm not trying to belittle you or make you feel like it's something that you're never going to understand. You might empathize just through people telling you and stuff like that, but a true cisgender person is never truly going to understand the things that goes through a transgender person's mind, especially the early stages, because I'm not on estrogen yet. I'm not, I haven't officially seen a doctor or anything like that. I'm just in the regular, everyday, normal person's lives, I'm just viewed as a guy that dresses up in women's clothes. And that's a horrible way to put it, but in the true reality, that is what it is. I'm still male. I'm still biologically male. I'm just a guy who dresses in women's clothes and wears makeup. That is literally the truth, and the honest to God true thing that is my life. Because when I go to stores and I'm Raven, when I'm Raven and I'm my normal, I'm in my normal environment, I wouldn't say normal. I'm in, to me, normal clothes, but to everyone else, again, I'm just a guy in women's clothes. I get called sir and everything like that, and it bothers me. It bothers me to no end. No one really understands, unless you're trans, my true feelings on how it feels, because, I try to present myself as female as much as I can, and I still get called sir, or just other male pronouns, and that nobody knows how much that, I'm not going to say it infuriates me, but it definitely annoys me to the point where I just want to look at those people and be like, and use that typical line, did you just assume my gender? Now again, I'm not trying to belittle people and be like, you're never going to understand type of thing. No, it's just, the short and simple of it is, no one's going to know my feelings, my true feelings, unless one, you're transgender and you've gone through that and or go through that, or two, you're me. Not even my parents, and not to be mean to my parents, because my parents support me so much, and I'm insanely grateful that they support me. But my parents, they will never truly understand. My computer's freaking out. Sorry about that, guys. My computer legit just started to like freak out on me, and I just stopped talking because it was like taking gaps in like my talking. So if in post, if things all fucked up, it shouldn't be, because it's happened before. Well, I didn't notice it, and it still came out fine. But yeah. So it's just, if it is, that is why that's all spaced up and stuff. Or if there's a huge gap between my train of thought and now, that's why my computer just started to freak out on me. I don't understand why it does that sometimes. But anyways, to sum up everything that I just talked about, just in case no one really understands, and get back on thought that I was talking about. Again, not to be mean to people. Not even my parents understand what I go through on a day-to-day basis. I've had the conversations with my mom, a few times, and it feels like she kind of understands. Like, she kind of empathizes with me and starts to kind of understand what goes through a transgender person's mind, or, thoughts and everything like that on a day-to-day basis. Because I start to explain to her, gender dysphoria, gender identity, depression, stuff like that. So it seemed like because just one day, I think we're watching like a documentary or something on gender, on gender stuff, and then she just started to ask me a bunch of questions, just out of the fucking blue, which I'm not mad at her. If anything, I am happy that she asked, or started to ask all those questions. Because it made me feel like she had a genuine interest in my transgender lifestyle. I wouldn't say lifestyle. That makes it sound like I can just drop it and change it. But just like she had a genuine interest in what I go through and what I deal with on a day-to-day basis. Which was nice. It was fucking amazing, and it put a smile on my face. It truly put a smile on my face. To show that my mom, was asking all those questions. That was cool. It was awesome. But, it was... my parents, they just don't understand. I'm happy that they support me. I'm ungratefully happy. Ungratefully? I am... There's no words I can explain. Yeah, that's a better word. That's a better way of putting it. There's no words I can explain of how grateful I am that my parents support me, and they're not one of those parents that are just like, oh, my son is wanting to change his gender. It's not in my household. I'm glad my parents aren't like that. I'm glad that they're just like, okay, cool, take the trash out. I'm glad that I'm really happy that they support me, and I'm glad they don't look at me any different. There's some things that they do that annoy me. Don't get me wrong. Like, it annoys me that, they still refer to me as Richard and not Raven. Or, they still call me their son. And same thing for, my sister. But there's nothing really I can do about that. It's something that I'm just going to have to live with. Hopefully one day they look at me and they say, and they start to it just clicks one day. That's all I can really do is just hope one day it just clicks, and that's about it. That's about all I can fucking do. It's not worth the stress or the time to get in arguments with my parents over this, because that's stress that I don't want. So whenever it happens, I just blow it off as ignorance. I wouldn't say ignorance. Wow, that makes my parents sound like assholes now. I blow it off as it's no big deal, because it's something that I guess I'm just used to as of right now. If I go on estrogen and years down the line, and I start to actually look more feminine, and they still continue, even after I get a legal name change and everything, and they still continue to call me Richard and call me son and everything, I think then that's when I'm gonna have to that's when I'm gonna have to sit down and have a serious conversation with them about it. But until then, I'm just going to deal with it, and I'm not gonna make a huge big deal about it, because it's not worth the time or the effort. Again, not to sound rude to my parents, but it's just not worth the time or the effort to deal with that. And some things, it's just, there's so many things that just stress me out about wanting to change genders. And when it comes to my love life, my family, my everyday life, it's very, I don't know how to put it without sounding like a just complaining, whiny bitch. I don't know how to put it in words. I really don't know how to put it in words, but it's annoying. It's really annoying, and it stresses me out to no end. And, some people might be like, what? Why is it stressing you out? It doesn't sound like it should stress you out, blah, 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 blah. It stresses me out, and if you want to try and tell me that it's not stressing me out, you can go fuck yourself. Like, I'm just going to be blunt and simple. You can go fuck yourself if you think it shouldn't stress me out. Because you're going to be one of those people that just will never understand and will never be able to want to educate yourselves over something new that you are just not used to. Because that's literally what it boils down to for people that are just, single-minded. There's only two genders. This whole thing shouldn't be so stressful. But that's just because you're not educated and you never want to be educated because you're scared of, opening up your thoughts and, taking people's thoughts and opinions into your own thought and like making them your own thoughts and opinions. You just want to be a single-minded fuck that doesn't want to learn and, be more open, that people aren't happy with their genders, not with their born genders, or they think they should be another gender, or don't want to identify as one gender, stuff like that. It's stuff like that makes me want to just tell you to fuck off. I mean, yes, those are just some of the little things in my life that are currently stressing me out, and is the big reason why that I have not been posting videos, because this stuff has been on my mind so much, and there's other little things too, just like, making sure ends meet, stuff like that, because, like, yeah, I still live with my parents, but I still have monetary responsibilities to do other things, like, I pay rent to my parents, I have my own phone bill, I took on other payment responsibilities, that I put myself in a situation to be obligated to pay these things. So it's other stupid little shit like that has me a little stressed out too. With that, being transgender and the constant thought of that my life would just be easier and a lot more simple if I just stayed male, which, it honestly makes me just want to cry that is a thought in my mind that I think about a few times a day. That's it's tough. It's, don't get me wrong, I'm a lot more happy that I'm open about this, that I actually go out on, a day-to-day, I wouldn't say day-to-day, but, when I'm not at work, I'll go out and, be myself and be Raven, and, I get looks, I get put in awkward situations. When I'm with my friends, it's a hell of a lot fucking easier to deal with it when I'm with my friends. But if I'm by myself, like, if I just go to the local grocery store, or, on my way to my friend's house, I stop at a gas station to get gas, or, like, soda or something, I get those awkward looks, and, those type of things really annoy me and really get to me, and, like I said, it all boils down to those awkward looks and stuff like that. It just really thumps back in the back of my mind. My life would just be a lot easier and simpler if I just stayed male. Which I don't tell people that. I mean, like, I'm making a video about this, or a podcast, whatever, about my thoughts on this. So now it's gonna be forever open to the world, to where my friends can stumble upon this, because like I'm not gonna link this episode I'm not gonna link this episode to on Facebook, just because I don't want my friends, well, my true friends, to send me messages like everything's okay, what's wrong, stuff like that. I don't want their sympathy. I don't want their sympathy or their empathy. Or I don't want to hear that. I really don't. I just want answers. I want things to be simpler in my life. And I still want to be happy. But shit in one hand, want in the other. Which one's gonna fill up faster? So it's me sitting down and say, do I want a happy, difficult life, or do I want a simple? I don't want to say sadder life or more sad life, or like depression-ridden life. It would be a not so happy, simple life, which I want simple and I want happy, but I cannot get both. And I'm never going to get both. So I have to sit down and I have to really think about my life, and how I want to move forward with this. Do I just want to give up? Give up me changing genders, and just deal with the fact that I'm gonna be male forever, and deal with the fact of just not being happy. Because, when I go to work dressed as male, I thought I was done with the video. Or when I go to work and I present myself as male, I'm not happy. I joke around and talk to my friends and stuff like that I've made at work. I may seem happy and seem like everything's okay, but I'm not happy. But yeah, no, I'm not happy. I'm sorry if it sounds like my train of thoughts are gapping. My computer's freaking out, and I don't want, when it starts to freak out and I notice it, I just stop talking, let it collect itself, and then I start back where I left off. So if it seems like my train of thoughts are very gapping, that's why. But yeah, no, I'm not happy. I'm not happy when I go to work. And then the fact that those thoughts are in the back of my mind when I'm at work, it makes my job drag on more. It makes my life just seem a lot more shittier than it is, because I'm at work and I'm someone that I don't want to be. And I don't tell people this at work. I work with my own fucking dad and I don't tell him this. So yeah, it's tough. It's really fucking tough to wake up, go to work, and be positive. The last couple days, it's been somewhat noticeable. I just haven't been talking as much. I haven't been it's because a lot of times I'm really engaging, or I try to stay positive at work, and I'll try to engage, and seem like everything's fine. But, I'm only human, so it slips through sometimes, and it shows that I'm just not fucking happy. So, that's just been it. But, yeah, so I'm gonna end this video, because I'm not grasping for stuff. It's just that I don't want to sound like I'm just complaining to complain. Because I'm not. I'm really trying not to complain. I'm just, trying to get my thoughts out there, and also simply explain where I've been, where I've been, and everything like that. Because I'm not gonna lie, the podcasts are very therapeutic to me. It really makes me feel even if I'm talking about something that's topical related, when I talked about the Jake Paul thing, it helped. It helped me think, or it helped me just to talk and have that debate discussion with Josh. It's very therapeutic. So I wanted to I needed some self-therapy, and I needed somewhere to get these thoughts off to, and also, explain who I am and where I've been. So for the new people that stumbled upon me, and stumbled upon this episode of the podcast, because I'm just gonna label this as an episode of the Voidcast, then, this isn't normal this is not normal. And if you listen this far, or if you've come this far in the episode, this is not the podcast normally. I'm not just in front of a microphone bitching about my life, as some people will see it. Just talking about my life and my stress and everything. It's not that. I have more energy. I talk about more. I talk about news. I talk about things topics that are somewhat relevant, or if it's just a topic that I want to talk about, I'll talk about it, because the motto of the podcast is no topic is off the table, even if I'm talking about Trump. Then I'll talk about Trump. I don't really give a shit. That's the thing that I try to push forward with this episode, or with this show. And even though my YouTube partnership got revoked and got terminated, I'm still going to try and do videos. I probably won't do videos as often. And it's not because of because I lost my partnership. It's just because I want to rebrand. I want to redo my branding and try to do other things. I keep saying I want to do streaming more. I just haven't had the time or the energy to stream. So I just haven't streamed. I also want to start putting this on Audio Boom. So that itself is a task at hand, and something that I need to look into before I move forward with this, and make sure that that is something that I want to do. Is work with Audio Boom and stuff like that, or try to find something else, because I've heard nothing but great things about Audio Boom. So Audio Boom is my first thought when I think about trying to work with a network when it comes to my podcast, because that's what I want to do. I want to move forward. I want to make this podcast a lot more accessible to people, and stuff like that. So I'm not looking at Audio Boom. I've been looking at Audio Boom. I just haven't pulled the trigger and just signed up for Audio Boom, or sent an email, try and see if I can get a network or something with them. It's just a matter of pulling the trigger and doing it. So yeah, I'm going to shut up now. But for the new people that has come to the podcast, please, I encourage you to check out other episodes of the podcast. I don't have all the episodes. I don't have all the episodes and playlists that's something I need to update. There's just a lot of stuff that I need to work on and update on the channel with YouTube. And also, I'm going to try and work on uploading videos again. It's just, I've been stressed. I've been in a different train of thought and space of mind, so I just haven't been feeling up to doing videos and stuff like that. So there's that. Plus there's also like I said, I want to rebrand the channel. I want to I'm starting to keep the YouTube channel, but I don't want that to be my main media source. I want to try and like I said, try putting the podcast on Audio Boom. I want to try streaming more, which means I might try and live stream the podcast and then upload it a couple days later, or a few days later, the next day Audio Boom, and then a couple days later put it on YouTube. I don't know yet. I'm not quite sure. There's a couple things that I want to sit down and try and do. And then plus also, I haven't been doing anything Yu-Gi-Oh related. I haven't been to my locals in almost a month. I could have went today, because I recorded this on a Saturday, the 20th of January, and I could have went, but I didn't, because I had plans to do something with someone. Those plans got canceled. I still had time to go to Grapple, but I didn't. Went and did something else with somebody else. So yeah, it was a lot of missed opportunities of me being dumb and just not going to grapple like I wanted to. And also, I just haven't had the energy for Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm playing a lot of Duel Links, but I just haven't had the energy for competitive play, like serious IRL competitive play, which I want to jump back into, but it's a matter of energy and a mental state for me to be like, I'm going to go deal with people and I'm going to go play a card game that I love so much. But, that's it. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to do my regular outro. I'm going to try, at minimum, record an actual, real episode of the Voidcast next week. So, thank you guys, and have a wonderful, beautiful night, day, thing, or whatever.